Wall Street is looking to rebound this week after the Dow posted its biggest one-week loss since 2023. Traders had a tough time last week adjusting the quickly changing tariff news, and yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent discussed the state of the economy.
I can predict that we are putting in robust policies that will be durable, and could there be an adjustment? Because I tell you that this massive government spending that we'd had, that if that had kept going, we have to wean our country off of that. And on the other side, we are going to invigorate the private sector. I had a meeting with small bankers last week, and they are ready to start lending. Yeah. And I can tell you that Main Street is going to do well.
CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady joins me now here in Studio 55. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
So how are the markets? I mean, they're up slightly this morning, but what are you hearing just from traders and on the ground as to how people are digesting this news from the secretary?
So, look, I think it's a little bit more of the same. We have heard that messaging even from the president that there could be short-term pain for long-term gain. I do think you have heard a lot of this, oh, he didn't rule out a recession. If you go back to the transcript, he said, look, no one could have predicted COVID. You can never 100% rule out a recession. And so you did see futures drop this morning, but I actually think what's happening right now is traders weren't completely spooked by his comments. It's more of the same, more uncertainty. But we actually got retail sales numbers that showed that spending increased. Now, that's sort of welcome news. It wasn't as good as expected, but that's compared to last month where they decreased. So I think that's what you're seeing in the market today, that the investors are saying, okay, maybe the consumer isn't falling off a cliff. There's still some growth, and we don't need to freak out just yet.
So what happens then on April 2nd when those reciprocal tariffs go into effect?
I would expect to see a lot more market volatility because over that last week, I mean, you saw we had aluminum and steel tariffs, the threat of reciprocal tariffs, and things were just all over the place. And I think you're going to see auto tariffs. You're going to see tariffs on nations like Vietnam and Brazil and India that tariff us already. And I think you're going to see a lot more volatility. I mean, the hope is that in a week and a half or so, maybe there's some negotiation, there's some carve-outs for some particularly important industries. But the president does say, you know, he is holding strong, and that's going to be his big plan. So, yeah, I think you'd see a bit more of a roller coaster.
The one thing that's sort of interesting to me is that I watched the MAGA faithful, supporters of President Trump last week, trying to tell people that this kind of volatility in the stock market was a good thing. Now, I think if you are a trader, if you're an investor, and you are a sophisticated investor, or an institutional investor, and you see market volatility and you think it's a short-term thing because you believe fundamentals are sound, you certainly welcome a buying opportunity. But I think if you are a retiree who's depending on their 401k, and let's say this is the year that you're about to start withdrawing contributions from that 401k, and you see this volatility, it's not a good thing. And if it continues, you could see a dampening of that enthusiasm that you're seeing for retail sales, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you're someone that is looking at their 401k and was expecting to retire this year, I feel for you because there is a lot of market volatility, and the messaging that you are getting from the White House and some investors is, hey, this is short term. We are going to see a bounce back. Don't look at your investments right now. And so that is a tough sort of push and pull. I think the hope from some investors that are more positive that I've spoken to is the back half of the year, once we get through this volatility of tariff today, no tariff today, that there's a little bit more stability. But again, I mean, right now, this whole wait and see thing, it gives people a lot of anxiety.
All right, Kelly O'Grady, not wearing green because we are in a green studio, even the O'Grady aspect of your lineage makes
green
me
in here.
I love it. Always good to have you here, Kelly. Thank you very much.